Let's get to Rick Santelli in Chicago with a look at how building credit can benefit the overall economy. Hey, Rick.
And specifically young people. Young people, young people, young people. This is Jeff Golding. He's with an outfit called WilliamPaid.com. And I'm like, what's William Paid? What's short for William? Bill. Paying your bills. Paying your bills ought to help you get a nice credit score. But credit scores are associated with debt. Is that right? And how can you help change this so young people have a better chance to build credit and buy a house?
Well, there's a lot of ways, Rick. You know, the problem is you have 50 million kids under the age of 30 that are renting, right? And so unless a debt, right, credit card, auto loan, student loan, or a mortgage, which, as we know, are not easy to get these days, there's no other way to build a credit history and show that you have a good track record,
and
right?
You call them credit invisibles.
And they're credit invisible. So how do they do it? Well, report your rent payments through services like us, where we'll report it to Experian and have it show up to show a track record.
Now, there's something Congress is trying to work on.
Correct.
So as a voting bloc, young people, pay attention here.
There's the Credit Access Inclusion Act, which is an amendment to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It was introduced by Representative Ellison of Minnesota, that is trying to get utilities to now allow them to report payments. So gas, electric, phone, cable, those things, they should show that you're making these payments every month on time.
Quality payment history.
Every month that you have to make are not being counted. And what happens is you don't know you have bad credit until you run into that instance where you apply for it, where you really need it. You need that auto loan because you can't finance it to get to work.
Which we just talked about, and some of these rates are very high.
Exactly. And so now you have this whole sector that goes into the subprime, and they're getting payday loans to make do.
All right,
and
so
whatever.
I'm a young person. I'm paying $1,500 a month rent. It's not helping me build a credit history or payment history for future purchases like a house.
Right.
What do they do? Concrete things to do to get this going.
Number one, come to WilliamPaid.com.
And there's probably others.
And there
right?
are others.
Okay.
So if your landlord reports, which is typically the largest 50 property managers, they may report. But if you're renting an apartment from a single proprietor,
or a guy may have 10 or 12 units.
Exactly. They're not buying the software. They're not using those systems.
How much does this cost if they went through an organization like yours?
If they go through us and they want to use a single checking account, they can do it for free. We'd never charge to report payments.
And there are others in the game as well.
There are a few others.
I want you to come back in a couple of weeks. We're going to pick this up. He's also very smart on student loans and some of the ways we can help young people pay those off, maybe with less cost. So at the end, young people, you want to build a payment history. Credit history is associated with debt. Maybe we need to rethink the whole thing. Back to you.
Rick, I love it. Personal experience speaks to this one as well, to the need for services to be reflected in that score. Thank you very much, sir. An important discussion that's happening.